Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine. Namo Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakatha Dhamadaya Nagaragramatarine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita. Jai Shri Vrajamandala Parikrama ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai. So, we have covered till day 18, where we came from Barsana, we came to Nandagaon, and I told the pastime of Uddhav Keri on the outskirts of Nandagaon, that beautiful, beautiful lecture by His Holiness Radharaman Maharaj. And then we went on to take darshan of Krishna Balaram and Mother Jashoda with Nanda Maharaj and Radharani. All five of them reside in this main temple of Nandagaon, which is located on a little hillock, and very beautiful temple. And by afternoon, we came to where our campsite was. We reached the campsite, and that was our first night stay in Nandagaon. The second night stay in Nandagaon was day 19, when we went from Nandagaon. We walked to JAVAT, we went to KADAMBA, and to ASHESWAR Mahadev. These three places we visited on day 19. It's almost like almost 16 to 18 kilometers walk. First, we visited the village of JAVAT. JAVAT, we all know that Srimati Radharani, it is her in-laws' home. It is the place of Jatila Kutila and Abhimanyu, Radharani's so-called husband, or Ayan Ghosh. And here in JAVAT, very beautiful, deity of Srimati Radharani is there, and she resides with Shyamasundar Bhagwan here. And on the side, there's Jatila Kutila and Abhimanyu's deity as well. And then upstairs, we need to go. This is like a real house. The temple is so beautiful in Javat. It's like a little home. And the flight of stairs that we have to climb, there's 3 flights of stairs. It's like a 3-story place. So the first story, when we climb the first flight of stairs, it's very narrow, only one person can go. And then, when they had to, because 1,200 devotees had to take darshan, so, they had somehow made 2 lines, one line going up, one line going down, but everyone was like, squeezing each other. This really narrow passage. And then, to the first flight of stairs, when we went to the first story, over there we can see Srimati Radharani's staying quarters, where she used to stay, where she used to sleep. There is a small little bed, just resembling, of course, where she used to lie down and take rest. So it is, very beautiful temple is constructed there where Srimati Radharani, that's like her resting place in Javat. And then the third story, it's like a rooftop, and there Srimati Radharani's lotus footprint is there, very beautiful lotus footprints, and there Radharani would stand and when she had to send some message to Krishna, she would stand over there and send out the auspicious ululating sound. The ululating is like that. That's called ululating. Srimati Radharani is said to have, she used to stand there on the third story on the rooftop of her home, and she would ululate, giving, message to Krishna. And Krishna would immediately understand that Srimati Radharani is calling him. So that's how they would communicate. Radharani would stand there and give ululating, and her lotus footprints are there. It's very, very beautiful. Javat, the name Maharaj explained this place, Javat. It's 2 syllables. Vat, we all know, means, Vata Vriksha means like a banyan tree. And under this banyan tree, it is explained that Sri Shyamsundar Krishna, he actually personally with his own lotus hands, he decorated Srimati Radharani's lotus feet with alta. He personally did this under this particular banyan tree, and the name of this tree is J-A, and that's why this place came to be known, because this tree became so glorious because Radha and Krishna performed very intimate pastimes here. So because of this banyan tree in Javat, this place came to be known as Javat, from this banyan tree. Oh, extremely beautiful place. Then from Javat we walked to Ter Kadamba. Now Ter Kadamba is actually a place that Krishna would come from Nandagaon. He would come to graze his cows over here in Ter Kadamba. Very beautiful place. It's like a lush green grass. Even till today, you can see the lush green grass of this place. And the cows would get, the fresh waters of the Yamuna. And then, they would graze on this beautiful, luscious, green grass. They would, and Krishna, when he had to wind up his cows, he would actually, play on his flute. He would sit on the Kadamba tree that is here, and he would sit on this Kadamba tree, and, he would play on his flute. And by playing on his flute, he actually would call out to the different cows. The 900,000 cows from Nanda Maharaj's Goshala, 900,000 cows Krishna would take to graze. And every day when he is winding them up, he has to call them, because all the cows would get scattered. They would go to graze and, they would get scattered. So before sunset, Krishna would have to call each and every cow. And how he would call is by playing on his flute. And different note he would play on his flute, which would address a particular cow, and that cow would come running. So like this, Krishna would call on all the cows, and then they would head back to go to Nandagaon. So this is the glory of Ter Kadamba. Ter Kadamba, actually, we know this is like Kadamba is like the flower. It's like a tennis ball, yellow color tennis ball, or, that's how big Kadamba flowers are. And these Kadamba flowers are actually compared to the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very beautifully it is compared, this Kadamba flower, to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that because Mahaprabhu is also golden, and when Mahaprabhu is in transcendental ecstasy, due to the Sankirtan, when he dances in ecstasy, Mahaprabhu's hair stand on end, the body on his glorious golden molten gold body. Mahaprabhu's body hair, it stands in ecstasy, like how our, when we get goosebumps, all our hair kind of stand out. So Mahaprabhu, when he would experience transcendental ecstasy, Mahaprabhu's body hair would just stand up and he would appear just like this Kadamba flower. So Mahaprabhu is compared to the beauty of this Kadamba flower. And in Vrindavan, there are two kinds of Kadamba flowers. One is this big one, which is like a tennis ball, which is golden in color. And this other one is called the Stair Kadamba, which is smaller. It's almost the size of a golf ball or even smaller than that, and it's whitish. And it's got very beautiful, both these Kadamba flowers have very beautiful perfume, very beautiful fragrance. So, and it's very, very dear to Krishna. This Kadamba flower is extremely dear to Krishna. In fact, it is said that Srimati Radharani, because the Kadamba flower, when you take it in your hand and when if you just shake it in your hand and remove the Kadamba flower, you'll see, white powdery dust. So this is actually the powder that Srimati Radharani and the gopis would apply on their body. And they would smell so fragrant, they would be so wonderfully, transcendently smelling because these Kadamba flowers have a very, very sweet smell. And so this was the powder that the gopis and Srimati Radharani would use on their own transcendental bodies. So this is another glory of the Kadamba flower, and this is the other glory of Ter Kadamba. Another glory of Ter Kadamba is that it is actually the Bhajan Sthali, or it is the place where Srila Rupa Goswami would actually engage in his bhajan. This is the place where he wrote all these, amazing books that Srila Rupa Goswami has compiled. He's, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion. All these books are actually written by Srila Rupa Goswami at Ter Kadamba when Rupa Goswami stayed in Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami would stay in Ter Kadamba. Actually, what would happen is that, Rupa Goswami, because he's a Goswami, so he, didn't have a fixed place of residence, so to speak. They didn't have like a home. None of these Goswamis had any home. Every night they would spend at a different place, and especially Rupa Goswami, what he would do is that every night he would go to a different tree and he would just spend his night under that tree. So, he didn't have anything to call his home. He didn't even have a bed, no mattress, nothing. And during the day, he would just sustain himself by begging at the house of the Vrajabasis. They would give him roti and, feed him like this. That's how he would sustain himself. And then he would sit under these different trees every day at sundown. He would sit under one tree and he would spend the night there, and the next day he would go again to another tree. Like this. So every day different tree. And one day Sanatan Goswami came to Rupa Goswami and said, Rupa, you should not be doing like this. Now we all know Sanatan Goswami is like the elder brother of Rupa Goswami, and he had the right to chastise Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami was being chastised by Sanatan, and he said, do you know what kind of trouble and anxiety you are giving to Srimati Radharani every single day? And Rupa Goswami was shocked. He said, how am I giving any trouble to Radharani? And then Sanatan Goswami revealed to Rupa Goswami and said that, because you go, under different tree every day, Srimati Radharani, she has to, work in anxiety that, okay, Rupa is going to select this tree or that tree, and whichever tree you would select, she would actually go the previous day and she would, clean up different trees just to make sure that when you come to choose a particular tree, that you find it nice and comfortable, that there'll be no, prickly thorns, or, it will be nice and clean for you to rest. And if the sun would be up, she would actually cover you, with her own achal, And, she would protect you from the sunlight. Like this, Radharani is getting so much of anxiety because of you. And she doesn't even know which tree you're going to go to. So she ends up cleaning like 10 trees every single day. And you choose only one tree out of that. So this is how you're giving so much of trouble to Srimati Radharani, and listening to that, Rupa Goswami was very much in anxiety. He said, no, I do not want to trouble Radharani like this. So therefore, he then, under the instructions of Rupa Goswami, he made a small bhajan kutir at Ter Kadamba near this Nandagaon, and this is where he started staying. And even then, Srimati Radharani would come there every day, and she would listen to whatever Rupa is writing, and she would actually protect Rupa Goswami with her own achal, with her own pallu, her sari's pallu from the sun, from the scorching sun. She would protect Rupa Goswami while he would sit under a tree and write these different Vaishnava literatures that Rupa Goswami has given us. So this is a very, very special place, especially for us, Rupanugas. This Ter Kadamba is an amazing, amazing place. You really will feel that, spiritually surcharged when we, go to this particular place, Ter Kadamba. It's very, very beautiful. And the place where Krishna would gather the cows, that is actually, very beautifully now it is all, nicely made, that there are different cows they have made it concrete, and they've built a very beautiful temple there. So, it's worthwhile to go there and see this amazing place called Ter Kadamba. Then from Ter Kadamba, we walked again to our next stop, which was ASHESWAR Mahadev. ASHESWAR Mahadev is actually Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva, he wanted to take darshan of Krishna in his childhood form. As a child, as baby Krishna, Lord Shiva wanted to take darshan. And when Lord Shiva came, Mother Yashoda was very scared seeing, the Avadhut, form of Lord Shiva. He looked like scary, because he had ashes all over him. He was wearing a tiger skin, and although he was dressed like a yogi, so she said that, Lord Shiva came in and he was disguised as a yogi, and he said that I would come to see your son and give him my blessings. But then Mother Yashoda didn't bring Kanha outside, because she said to him that my son will be really scared seeing you, so I don't want to bring my son out, and she didn't bring. So Lord Shiva, actually for the next few days, he stayed near this place, near Ter Kadamba. It's around 3-4 kilometers from Ter Kadamba is this ASHESWAR Mahadev temple, and he stayed here and he engaged in extremely deep tapasya, and with the hope and the desire that he wants to see the childhood form of Krishna. And Mother Yashoda, she started receiving news that all the Brajbasis are coming and saying this, this yogi is sitting and doing tapasya there, look at Kana, he's been crying, since the day this yogi has come and you didn't take him to see that yogi, he has been crying and been very cranky since that day. Maybe you should just take Kanha there and, make him see this yogi, and that yogi will make Kanha all right. So because Asheshwar means Asheshwar, he had this desire to see baby Krishna. That is why Mahadev here is called as Asheshwar Mahadev. And finally his desire of seeing baby Krishna was thus fulfilled. And immediately when Krishna saw Asheshwar Mahadev, Krishna immediately, was jubilant and happy, and Mahadev was in, great ecstasy also, and Krishna stopped being cranky. But this is the glory of Asheshwar Mahadev. And then we walked back to our campsite. We came back to Nandagaon. And then that was our second night stay in Nandagaon. The third night, which was day 20, that day is actually we celebrated Srila Prabhupada's Tirobhav Tithi, the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. Day 20 is when we celebrated that day. And they had amazing arrangements. They had cooking arrangements. So we, my mother and myself, we made like around 8 items for Srila Prabhupada. We made kachoris and, different sweets and other items that Srila Prabhupada likes. We made his favorite puri and eggplant fry and all of that, some traditional Bengali sabjis and all that we made for Prabhupada. And then in the evening that day, so in the morning, entire morning, we were cooking in the campsite only. They had, 2-3 tents where we could cook for Srila Prabhupada. And then there was, a class by all Maharajas, Loknath Maharaj and everyone, glorifying Srila Prabhupada. And then there was Prabhupada's Abhishek, and then the huge feast. And then in the evening that day, we went to Vrindakund. Vrindakund is a very, very amazing place. It was, from the campsite that we were staying, it was just less than a kilometer walk to go to Vrindakund. So we went to Vrindakund, and Vrindakund is the place where Vrinda Devi, it's her residing place. This was the place where Vrinda Devi, from here, we know that how gloriously Vrinda Devi, every night, she organizes that where the divine couple will actually engage in their, which kunja they will stay, which forest grove are they going to do their Rasa Leela in. So Vrinda Devi arranges for all these pastime places in Vrindavan for Shri Radha and Krishna. But this Vrindakund is the place where Vrinda Devi herself resides. So, this place is called as Vrindakund. Radha and Krishna would come here very often, and they would engage in amazing pastimes here. Very confidential leelas would happen here. And in Vrindakund, one thing that we see is that that place, till today, actually the worship of that particular deity, Vrinda Devi's deity, very special marble deity, it's actually taken over by ISKCON devotees. And they've built a beautiful temple there, and Vrinda Devi is actually, you'll see, if you go to that temple, you'll see our acharyas there, like our Guru Parampara is there. And so there, Vrinda Devi there is worshipped according to ISKCON standards. And so that's something very, very special. And, just above the temple, the temple is under the shade of one huge banyan tree. And in that banyan tree, the only birds that come is only one species of bird, which is the parrot. There's no other bird that enters Vrindakund. This is a magical thing that we witnessed in Vrindakund, that no other bird comes to Vrindakund other than the parrot. It's only the parrot, because parrot is actually the right hand. The parrot sits on the right hand of Vrinda Devi. You can see it's so beautiful, and this entire tree is full of parrots, just full of parrots. And then on the other side of Vrindakund, we went to one small little place which is around 1.5 to 2 kilometers away. In that day, on day 20 only in the evening, we went there. It is a small Charan Pahadi. Charan Pahadi means it's a little small hill where Krishna's lotus footprint is there. And very beautiful. It's not even a temple. It's just like a shaded kind of a place. Very beautiful. It's said that Krishna would play on his flute over here, and because when he played the flute, the stone was so affected and in ecstasy that the stone melted, and Krishna's footprint is there. Day 21, that was the walk. That was a walk of almost 36 kilometers. The highest kind of walk that we had, that was the longest walk that particular day. That day we went from NANDAGAON to SHESHASAI. Now till day 20, we actually were staying, like 2 nights, 3 nights in some places like Barsana, Kamyavan, NANDAGAON, these places we stayed, 2-3 nights each day. But from day 20 onwards, the day that we started from Nandagaon till day 30, the last, these last 10 days, day 21 to day 30, which is 9 days practically. These 9 days we stayed only one day every day. So every day we were going to a different campsite. Of course there was walking even, the previous 20 days. Every day we were walking, but, we used to sometimes come back to the same camp. Like in Nandagaon, we stayed 3 nights. But from day 21, we started staying only one night per place like this. It was every day we were changing camps. So this day 21, something miraculous happened this particular day. I will not forget this, experience. I really feel that it was, how this happened or why this happened, I really cannot say. But all I can feel is that I was definitely absolutely not qualified, but, Srimati Radharani just pulled me. That's what happened. But this is what happened. The day that we started walking, day 21, from Nandagaon, we started, and because it was such a long walk, our parikrama started at 5 o'clock in the morning. We started 1 hour early. Generally, we'd start walking at 6, but this day we started walking at 5 in the morning. So it was dark outside, and we started walking. And within 8 kilometers, after 8 kilometers of walking, we came to our first stop, which is KOKILA. KOKILA is not one of the 12 glorious forests of Vrindavan, but here in this particular forest, Krishna and his cowherd friends, they would, play, and they would make sounds like the cuckoo. Coo, coo. So Radharaman Maharaj told us that because Krishna would do this, so all devotees, when we were entering this KOKILA, all the devotees were making this sound, the sound of the cuckoo. Coo, coo. And we were remembering how Krishna and the cowherd boys, they would, imitate the sound of the cuckoo, and they would dance and, play around in this KOKILA. Very beautiful temple of Radha Shyamsundar is here. And so after crossing KOKILA, we started walking again. Now, as soon as we started, when we left KOKILA, I developed some kind of a problem in my stomach. I started feeling very, very sick, extremely sick. And to such an extent that I had to take shelter of one house of a Vrajabasi. This was still around 7:30 in the morning. And the Vrajabasis, they are so glorious, they are so amazing, they've got such compassion. And, their udarta means their generosity, is just unmatchable, unbeatable kind of. And because anyone who would go, they would actually, like, we would cross, right, different villages, and we would go. So all these Brajbasis, they would literally come out of their homes, that they would call, please come, andar aao, chhaach pee ke jao, jal lo, ye lo, roti lo, so much, everything they would offer. And they would, keep their khatiyas outside, and they would say, baitho, you just sit down for a little while, then you walk. Like this, it was so amazing to see this generosity of the Brajbasis. And so we would sometimes definitely do madhukari. Madhukari means, madhu means honey, and kari means, kar means hand, and kari means with your hand you're begging for nectar. So nectar is honey, like that. So madhukari, basically it is actually begging. But the Goswamis, they introduced this word called madhukari because from the Brajbasis, anything that we receive is actually nectar. So when we say, Amma, madhukari, we used to just go and say Maya or Amma like this, and we just say, madhukari, and they would give us braj roti and some pickle like this they would do for us, they would give us hot rotis and all that. So, but anyways, this particular day, because of my sickness, I had to, actually use the restroom. So my stomach was suddenly, I had not eaten anything bad or anything. I don't know why this happened. I was so sick and I had to use the restroom. So this Brajvasi, they were so nice. I was not even in a state of, lifting the balti, the bucket, and going into the restroom. This lady, she actually literally took me inside and brought the water for me and everything inside the bathroom. And then I, took bath and everything, and I came out. When I came out, I was still feeling, and it was all just water, that I passed. It was, my stomach had got very, very loose. So I couldn't eat anything, of course, but when I came out, I saw my father, my mother, they were all with me, of course, and there was one more Mataji. They were all nicely sitting and having breakfast, from this Prajapasi house. They were sitting and having hot rotis, and they told me that you also eat. I said, no way, my stomach was paining like anything. I had such bad stomach pain. The stomach pain was just, it's too much. I've never experienced that kind of stomach pain. So then after they finished everything, I sat down for a while. Then we started walking. And I started praying to Radharani that, this is just not possible. And, we had only finished like 8 to 9 kilometers. We still had, at least 30 kilometers more to do, to walk. And how am I going to walk with this stomach pain? And, my body, I'm feeling like throwing up. I'm feeling dizzy. I'm feeling very, very sick, extremely sick. And then my father, I was holding his hand and we were walking. And that day, miraculously, there was no sun. It was a cloudy day. That was the first day, the only day, somehow we just felt that Srimati Radharani literally covered the sun with her achal, with her pallu. She literally covered it. There was no, it was like a cloudy day. It was a miraculous weather. And so we kept walking, and my father was praying and he was chanting, and of course even I was chanting. My mother was there with me and we were all chanting. They were all praying for me. And then suddenly, one thing that I just started doing was I bent down to, we were walking through fields, so there was Brajadhuli, the dust of Vrindavan, where we're walking on. So I just started picking up the dust and I started applying on my stomach. And I started praying to Srimati Radharani that, Radhe, your lotus foot dust is here in this dust. So even if I'm going to die, I will not sit in a car, because my parents were telling in that time that, how you're going to walk. We'll find a car for you and you just sit in the car and you go, because I was so sick and I was not even able to walk. And then I was telling Radharani that, my parents are saying that I should take the car, I should go, but I don't want to do this. I really want to walk. Radharani, you can do a magic. You can cure me if you want. So please help me. And I was just while making these kind of prayers, I was just taking that dust of, Braj and just applying on my stomach, near my navel. Because it was excruciating pain. So I was just applying. And when I was doing that, I was feeling better. I started feeling little better. Then we came to one place which is called CHARAN Pahari. CHARAN Pahari is an amazing, mesmerizing place where actually Krishna and Balaram, along with Srimati Radharani sometimes, when Radharani would come, Balaram and the Sakhas, they would go away. But Krishna and the animals, cows, the goats, the camel, all of them, their lotus footprint is there in an area which is almost like 1 kilometer stretched out. Because Krishna would play on his flute like this, the stones literally would melt. So not only would Krishna's footprints get had gotten etched on the stones. Even the animals, the cow's hoof print is there, the goat's hoof print is there, camel's toe, that one is there, and then there is Lord Balaram's crown piece is there, Krishna's flute. Krishna had just put his flute down on one of the stones, that melted, and Krishna's flute impression is there. So like this entire place, it's called Charan Pahadi. Amazing place. So when we reached Charan Pahadi, my father, just before reaching Charan Pahadi, my parents were actually, my father and mother, they were saying that, oh no, we wish the doctor would be here. There's a doctor that travels with the Parikrama party. But the doctor, they go by car and they reach directly at the, the camping site. They don't walk with the Parikrama, nor do they travel with the Parikrama. So we were thinking that, maybe I should just go, take the car, go to the doctor, and then come back. That's what I was also thinking, maybe I'll have to do that. But I really didn't feel like doing any of that. But then when we were just about to enter this Charan Pahadi, there's a huge gate. And before entering the gate, I saw the car of the doctor. And I told my father, I was not even able to speak properly. I just pointed out and I said, Doctor, right there, doctor. I just pointed out like that to my father, and then we went running. My parents just went running over there, and then this doctor, he's a devotee, of course, our god brother, and he is a homeopathy doctor, and he said, yes, I have medicines with me, and that was a miracle in itself, that how he was there. And on top of it, not just he being there, but him having all his medicines with him, because generally the medicines would go in the truck, but he had medicines with him. Somehow, he said, generally I never carry medicines, but today I don't know why I just felt like carrying. And he had these medicines, which was actually just the ones that I needed, for my stomach upset and everything. And he just, right there, standing at the entrance of Charan Pahadi, he put in my mouth directly, 4 drops of 4 different kinds of medicines. And he said, within 10-15 minutes, you'll feel better. And then once you reach the campsite, if you are still having any issues, you come see me. You won't believe it. By Guru Maharaj's mercy, by Srimati Radharani's mercy, by the time I entered Charan Pahadi, which was in 5 minutes, I was completely fit as a fiddle. No problem at all. No sign of any pain, nothing. And I was able to smile, talk, and I was feeling so hungry. And, I had not eaten anything. It was almost like 9 o'clock in the morning. So, when we came out after darshan of Charan Pahadi, my parents gave me some biscuit and some water and everything. Just had like 2 biscuits and had little water, and then we started walking. And again, this entire day of walking, it was so amazing of a walk, because Srimati Radharani literally had covered the sun that particular day. And when we reached the breakfast spot, the devotees were saying, some of the organizers were saying, oh, we have another 12 more kilometers to walk, and it was almost 12:30 at that time. When we reached for breakfast, it was 12:30. And some of the organizers were there. They said there's another 12 kilometers more to walk, and if you want, you can take the car, because it's a really long walk. And we said, no, we'll try to walk. And they started saying that this is the first time in all these 30 years that this kind of weather is there on this particular day. Generally, this long day of walking, the sun is extremely scorching. But this year, this is a miracle that it is a cloudy weather. It's not that it was raining, because if it starts raining, then again there'll be difficulty in walking, because we walk through fields and everywhere it will become kichad. So it was not raining, but it was just that the sun was oblivious to its presence. There was no sun. It was covered by clouds. In fact, it was not covered by clouds, it was covered by Srimati Radharani herself. And amazing, then when we started walking again, I remember after breakfast, we again started walking, and when we walked, we had to cross the main national freeway, which connects from Rajasthan. It's the national, it's a Delhi-Agra freeway, actually, highway, whatever it's, Delhi-Agra highway. So we had to cross that Delhi-Agra highway and then go on the other side to go to SHESHASAI. We were going from Nandagaon, we were going to SHESHASAI. So when we crossed the road, we stopped there at one of the stores, and it was just off of the main road. And when we stopped there, my father, my mother, and 2-3 other devotees were there along with us. So we just sat down. We were drinking some water, and then we just started walking. And when we started walking, I just felt that somebody was nudging my shoulder, like tapping my shoulder. And I just looked up and I saw that it was His Holiness Radharaman Maharaj. And at that time, it was exactly 1:30 in the afternoon. And Maharaj actually had seen us, when he was actually heading back to go to Vrindavan. He was on the freeway, on the highway, in his car, and he was heading to go back to Vrindavan. And Maharaj stopped the car. We saw that the car was, on the highway, stopped out, and Maharaj came just to speak to us, and he just came and he tapped on my shoulder, and he just said, so, यहाँ तक पहुँच गए ना, तो यहाँ से बराबर 8 किलोमीटर पड़ेगा शेषशायी मंदिर तक, बराबर 8 किलोमीटर. And the way Maharaj said, the way he was talking, it was like taking away, just, making us feel so fresh. Maharaj's words were so encouraging. Maharaj said, यहाँ तक पहुँच गए ना, तो अभी तो यहाँ से बस 8 किलोमीटर दूरी है, बस 8 किलोमीटर, बराबर 8 किलोमीटर. तो और कल से तो चलना ही नहीं है. He said, from tomorrow you don't have to walk at all. बस आज चल लो और कल से तो चलना ही नहीं है. And then, but those words coming from Maharaj, and Maharaj taking that, that showing that concern, that care, that love, really, really gave us that energy that from that 1:30 we took. To cover those 8 kilometers, we reached to Sheshasai temple at 3:30. It took us around 3:45 actually we reached Sheshasai temple. But those words of Maharaj was, really, really, it was like so, it just gave us so much of motivation to just keep walking, And then Maharaj just ran back and he sat in the car and he left for Vrindavan. Maharaj would, some days he would stay with the camp, on the site, but most of the days Maharaj would go back to Vrindavan and he would come back the next day. But Sheshasai temple is this very, very old deity. It is more than 5,000 years old deity. It's a self-manifested deity, and as the name suggests, Sheshasai means it's actually it's actually Lord Vishnu lying down on the bed of Sheshnag. And he's actually carved in stone. It's like a flat slab of stone. And the Sheshnag, you'll see Sheshasai, Lord Vishnu lying down. And then from his lotus navel is Brahma on the lotus. And there's demigods behind Lord Brahma also. So all this is carved out on a slab, but it's actually not carved by any human. This particular slab is a self-manifested slab. And in front of Sheshasai, there's this kunda, which is called Kshir Sagar. Kshir Sagar is, of course, we know, which is the, on Kshir Sagar only is where Lord Vishnu resides, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So this is the deity of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, and he was found in this very kunda, in Kshir Sagar. So my father actually took bath in the Kshir Sagar we sprinkled water on our head, and then we came to our campsite. So it's amazing darshan of SHESHASAI, and then finally we reached SHESHASAI after this very long walk, but an extremely, we witnessed, literally firsthand, we witnessed the miracle of Srimati Radharani, that Radharani indeed takes care of, takes care personally. She does take care personally. And I really was feeling completely, unqualified and completely, undeserving, totally undeserving, that how Srimati Radharani is actually, she does not see whether one is, from her point of view, she doesn't really see whether one is qualified or not. She's just so much, compassion personified, that she just gives out her compassion, she just gives out her love without seeing the qualification of the other side, other party, whether they're deserving of it or not. And I really felt that this was to a completely undeserving person like me. She allowed me to walk in spite of me having to go through, such physical difficulty. But somehow Radharani just pulled me through. She just pulled me, literally experienced that. So we'll stop here. I'm so sorry to go a little bit above time, but I will stop here today. Shri Vrajamandala Parikrama ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Thakurani ki jai. Shpatitva Vanshla Prabhupada ki jai. Any other questions?
Just one question, Mataji.
Yes.
How do devotees, you said there is a temple for Abhimanyu, Jatila Kutila. So how do devotees, how do we pray to them, Mataji? How do we relate to them?
Well, we need to understand that, Jatila, Kutila and Abhimanyu, they actually are present only in the Bhauma Leela, that they actually appear and manifest in the Bhauma Leela of, when Krishna comes here, because, Krishna comes to experience Parakiya Ras, and there are many more internal reasons why Srimati Radharani was actually married to Abhimanyu, because, that was a curse from one of the cowherd boys, Sudama, to Srimati Radharani. Anyways, all of this reasons are there, but this, the pastime of Jatila and Kutila and Abhimanyu, especially Jatila and Kutila, because Jatila Kutila would stop Srimati Radharani from going to meet with Krishna. So they would actually intensify the desire of Krishna meeting with Radharani, So they would actually, in that way they would participate directly in the, pastimes of Krishna by making their desire to see each other much more stronger, because when there is restriction, you have more desire to, there's more sweetness in the milan when you have the sambhoga. So that is why Jatila Kutila, actually when Srimati Radharani, her position was revealed by Uddhava to the Brajbasis at that time, Jatila Kutila actually came and begged forgiveness, also from Srimati Radharani. And, so like this, yes, Jatila Kutila, they are there, but, the devotees just see it this way, that they are there to intensify the desire of Radha and Krishna's pastimes,
Okay, Mataji.